Hi everyone, I hope you're okay, and I really hope that guys, the videos we keep uploading are helping you out. I'm about to start answering the grade 11 mathematics paper 1, which was written in the province of Gauteng in the year 2023. Please note that guys, there will be a full playlist whereby you can find all the questions, and please note that each question will have its own video. This video is just based on paper on question 1, and then there will be other videos following this one. Just stay tuned guys, download the paper as well, and make sure that you attempt the questions first, or you can just screenshot the questions if you cannot find the question paper. Screenshot the questions, try it on your own, and then come back and do no rather and come back and verify your answers with mine. If there are things I'm not sure about, please don't hesitate, just write on the comment section. I'll definitely come back to you. Okay, question 1. Before you even start guys, please do subscribe. Okay, question 1. Given that k is equal to the square root of 5 all over p plus 2 plus p over 2. Okay, show that k is a rational if p is equal to 3. How can I show that? For k to be rational, this number that is inside here, excuse me, it has to be a perfect square altogether. Let us list perfect squares. Perfect squares are 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, etc. Perfect squares are numbers that you can find the square root of altogether. Okay, and then after finding a square root, you'll obviously get an integer. So if p is equal to 3, what do we get? Inside the square root, we'll have something like 5 over p plus 2, right? So and then we have p plus 1, p plus 3 over there. My only concern is inside the square root, right? So this is equal to k. So if p is equal to 3, I'll simply have 5 over 3 rather plus 2. Then I'll have 3 over 3 there. And then this will be 5 over 5, which is 1, and the square root of 1 is just 1. And then 3 over 3 will give me 1. The answer is 2. So p will give whenever p is equal to 3, k will be equal to a rational number. Are we together? A rational number is a number that does not have long decimals, or a rational number is just a number that is not inside the square root. So if p is equal to 3, k is a rational number. Now let's answer the second question. For which values of p will k be real? Okay, we have a square root over here guys, right, together, and k will be real if whatever that is inside the square root is greater or equal to 0. Right, together. So if you look at this thing in depth, you can see that you are dividing two things and you get a positive answer, which simply means that those things both of them are either positive or both of them are negative. Are we together? So I know that 5 is a positive number, so that means my denominator has to be positive, because whenever I'm dividing two numbers and get an answer which is greater than 0, it simply means that my numerator has to be positive and my denominator has to be positive. Are we together? So if 5 is a number which is greater than 0, that means my denominator has to be greater than 0 as well. At my denominator I have p plus 2. This is greater than 0. Please guys, don't confuse yourself by putting in greater than or equal to. Why am I saying that? Because this thing is at the denominator, it cannot be equal to 0. Are we together? If it was at the numerator, yes, you're going to say greater or equal to 0. But p plus 2 is at the denominator, so it cannot be equal to 0. So we'll just leave it as p plus 2 is greater than 0. Therefore, p is greater than a negative 2. If p is greater than a negative 2, k will be a real number. Are we together? Okay, now let's go and do okay, the answer here said p is greater than -2, right? Okay, now 1.2.1, we are given 3x squared is equal to 4x plus 2, and then we are told to correct the answer into 2 decimal places. Once you see this statement, guys, in question 1, whenever they say to you correct your answer into 2 decimal places, please note that you are supposed to use the quadratic equation to solve x. Are you together? But before you do that, obviously you need to put your equation rather must be in standard form. Are you together? What does that mean? It simply means that everything should be on the left hand side and then 0 should be on the right hand side. Are you together? So now I know the value of a is 3, the value of b is -4, the value of c is -2. So therefore I know that x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is -b. I have a -4 there, plus minus I'll have -4 squared. The value of a is 3 and the value of c is -2 all over 2 multiplied by 3. Are we together? So this will give me 4 plus or minus the square root of then inside the brackets I'll simply have 16 plus I think it's 16 plus 36. Okay, let me just punch my precious calculator. I have 4 squared plus that's 40. That's 40. Oh, it's 16 plus 24 rather. Okay. This gives me the square root of 40 all over 6. So therefore, x is equal to 4 plus the square root of 40 over 6, or x is equal to 4 minus the square root of 40 over 6. Then I just punch my calculator and round off to 2 decimal places. I have 4 plus the square root of 40 all over 6. This will give me 1.72, and then another x value, it's 4 minus the square root of 40 all over 6. This is -0.39. So these are my x values. X is 1.72 or x is -0.39. Okay, 1.2.2 we have an inequality there. Okay, whenever you solve the inequality, guys, we treat it as if you are solving for an absolute value of x. Are you together? So I know I have x squared plus 10 greater than a -1, right? Whenever I solve x, I need to make sure that everything is in standard form. I'll do the same thing here. I'll have plus 21 greater than 0. Are we together? And then I'll find my factors. The purpose of factorizing is for me to get the critical values, right? The critical values are the x values that when I substitute in my expression, I will get a 0. Are you together? So I want the factors of 21 that when I add will give me 7. Will give me 10. Those factors are 7 and 3, right? Since the sign here says plus, it simply means my brackets will have the same sign, but not just any sign. The sign of the middle term. I will have a plus there and a plus there, and then my critical values. I know that x is equal to a -7 and x is equal to a -3. After finding my critical values, I just need to place them on my number line. I have -7 and -3, and I must place them from the smallest to the largest, always the time. Yeah? The smallest value is on the left hand side, the largest value has to be on the right hand side. Are we together? This is greater than 0, it's not greater or equal. So both my critical values are not included, will never be a part of my solution. Are we together? Okay. Since the coefficient of x in both brackets is a positive one, it simply means my x's are both have the same sign. Are we together? So I'll start with the plus here. Once I get this side, it will be easy for me to find the other ones, because they just keep on alternating. If I start with the plus, I'll follow with the minus and start with the plus again, right? So I'm looking for the values of x that will give me an expression which is positive, or an answer which is positive, right? On my number line, I can only see positive whenever I move from -7 to the left and -3 to the right. So my answer is, I'll say x is less than a -7, or x is greater than a -3. These are my solutions. So x is less than -7, or x is greater than a -3. Okay, and then 1.2.3, we are supposed to solve x there. Okay, our equation, we have x squared minus 5 is equal to 2 multiplied by the square root of x. For me to solve x, guys, there are things I don't need. I don't want to have fractions, don't want to have brackets, and I don't want to have sets. In this case, I have sets. Are we together? How can I remove sets? I can remove sets by squaring both sides. Are we together? Whenever I square both sides, on the left hand side, the square root will be cancelled. I'll be left with x squared minus 5, and on the right hand side, the square over here, guys, will be the exponent for both the 2 and the square root of x. Are we together? So I'll simply have 4, and the square root will cancel there. I will have x. So now I don't have sets, brackets, and fractions. I move to the next step just to make sure that my equation is in standard form. I'll simply have x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. Are we together? My equation is in standard form. The value of a is positive, and yes, it is equal to 1. I can easily factorize. I want the factors of 5 that when I subtract will give me 4. Just x then, yeah? The factors of 5 that when I subtract will give me 4. That's 5 times 1. And whenever I say 5 minus 1, I'll simply get a 4. Okay, since the sign here is minus, it simply means that my brackets will have different signs. Are you together? But the bigger factor will always take the sign of the middle term. 5 is bigger than 1, so I'll simply have a negative there and a plus here. So x is equal to 5, or x is equal to -1, right? For you to check that your answers are applicable or not, just substitute them on the original equation and check whether whenever you substitute them, is the left hand side equal to the right hand side. If that's true, it simply means that your answer is applicable, and if that's not true, that means your answer is not applicable. Whenever you substitute a -1 on the equation, I believe the left hand side will never be equal to the right hand side, right? Because on the left hand side, yes, you will find an answer, but on the right hand side, it will say undefined. So this one is not applicable. So x is equal to 5 only. It's important for you to say that. Only. Are we together? So let's write our solution. X is equal to 5 only. Okay, now let's move to 1.2.4. 1.2.4, we have an exponential equation. I'll have 3 to the x plus 1, 3 to the x minus 1 is equal to 10 over 9. Okay, Whenever, guys, your terms are, let me write properly here. Okay, whenever your terms are separated by a plus or a minus sign, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you separate your exponents. Are we together? Since these ones are adding, it simply means that you had two numbers that were multiplying one another and they had the same base. So we'll simply have 3 to the power x multiplied by 3. Are we together? And then on the side, you have your exponents subtracting one another. It simply means that you had two numbers dividing one another, and they had the same base. So the situation was 3 to the x all over 3 to the power 1. This is equal to 10 over 9. Are you together? Just to make sure that, guys, you don't make mistakes, please, guys, just be simple. Yeah? Simply say let 3 to the x to be equal to k. Simply means whenever you see 3 to the power x, you'll just substitute a k. Yeah? So I'll have 3k plus k over 3 is equal to 10 over 9. Are you together? Whenever I'm solving for any unknown variable, I need to make sure that I don't have fractions. Are you together? How can I remove fractions? I must multiply each and every term by the LCD. Are you together? In this case, my lowest common denominator is 9. So I'm going to multiply each and every term by 9. Are you together? Okay, whenever I say 9 multiplied by 3, I'll simply get 27k. K over 3 multiplied by 9, I'll simply get 3k. This is equal to 10, because on the right hand side the 9s will cancel. Yeah? So this will give me 30k is equal to 10. Then k is equal to 1 over 3 whenever I divide by 30 on both sides, right? But remember that I was not solving for k. K was just a tool to help me to get to the solution easily. Are you together? Whenever I see k, I'll just whenever I see k, I'll just substitute 3 to the power x back. So I'll simply say 3 to the power x is equal to 1 over 3. 3 to the power x is equal to 3 to the minus 1. Whenever you remove your number from the denominator to the numerator, you must make sure that you change the sign of the exponent. Ne? We are applying this property that simply says that a to the power minus p can be written as 1 over a to the power positive p. Are we together? So now the bases are the same. I can simply say therefore the exponents are equal. So x is equal to a negative 1. Are we together? So x is equal to negative 1 over there. Okay, and then now on 1.3, I'm given two equations, and 1.3.1 I'm supposed to solve for both x and y simultaneously. Okay, equation 1 simply says x plus y is equal to 2. That's equation 1. And then equation 2 simply says y plus 1 is equal to negative 3 over x minus 1. This is equation 2, right? From equation 1, I can simply say that y is equal to 2 minus x. This will be my equation 3. Are you together? And then all I need to do is to substitute equation 3 in equation 2 and then solve for one unknown. Whenever I see y, I'll just substitute. Remember, I have a y there, ne? So I'll just substitute 2 minus x. Whenever I come across y, there's a plus 1 there is equal to negative 3 all over x minus 1. So this would give me 3 minus x is equal to negative 3. Let me write properly. Negative 3 over x minus 1, right? I have fractions. All I need to do is to make sure that I remove fractions. How can I remove fractions? Multiply everything by the LCD. What's my LCD here? X minus 1. So I'll simply have 3 minus x, and I'll have x minus 1 is equal to negative 3, right? So after removing the fractions, the next thing I need to do is to make sure I remove the brackets. How can I remove the bracket? I will use the FOIL method. Ne? 3 multiplied by x, this will give me 3x. 3 multiplied by 1, by negative 1 rather, is negative 3. Negative x times x is minus x squared. Negative x times a negative 1 is plus x. This would give me negative 3 on the right hand side. Okay, so I will have negative x squared plus 4x minus 3 is equal to negative 3, right? So whenever I take everything to the right hand side, the x squared will be positive, the 4x will be negative now, and then I will have the 3 will be positive, so I'll simply have a negative 3 plus 3, which will just give me 0. So I know that I will have this form of a quadratic equation equaling 0. So all I need to do is to take out the common factor. X minus 4 is equal to 0. Then x is 0 or x is 4. Are you together? Now I've only solved for x. I need to find the corresponding y values. How can I do so? When x is 0, therefore y is, remember that we said our equation 3, y is equal to 2 minus x, right? So y is equal to 2 minus 0, which is just equal to 2. Are you together? And then when x is equal to 4, therefore y is equal to 2 minus 4. Y is equal to 2 minus 4, which will give me negative 2. So I know that when x is 0, the corresponding y value is 2, and when x is 2, no, rather when x is 4, the corresponding y value is negative 2. That's how, guys, we could have managed to solve for x and y simultaneously. Okay, now let's go for 1.3.2. 1.3.2. Okay, 1.3.2, they're saying to us, hence or otherwise determine the value of 1 over x plus 1 over y, right? Okay, we cannot use these solutions, or this point rather. We cannot use this one. Why? Because x is 0. Whenever I say 1 over 0, I will get undefined, because a denominator cannot be 0 in mathematics, right? So we cannot use this point. We are going to use the other one. Are you together? So 1 over x plus 1 over y is simply equal to 1 over 4 plus y over a negative 2. What will this give me? 1 over 4 plus 1 over a negative 2. This will give me negative 1 over 4 as my final answer. So this is equal to negative 1 over 4. Okay, now let's move to 1.4. 1.4, we are given an equation there, and we are told that m cannot be equal to 0. Determine the values of m for the equation for which the equation has real roots. Okay, whenever they tell you that the equation has real roots, they are basically telling you about delta. Are you together? Because if a quadratic equation has real roots, it simply means that delta is a positive number. Is greater or equal to 0 actually. Are you together? Delta is greater or equal to 0. Are you together? What is delta? Remember that delta is b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant. So I'll simply say here delta is greater or equal to 0. Delta is b squared minus 4ac, greater or equal to 0. The value of a and b and c. The value of a there is 2m. Anything in front of x squared is a, ne? And anything in front of x is m. So we'll simply have negative m minus 2. And then c is anything that does not have x. So m plus 1 represents c. Are you together? All I need to do here is to just substitute. I have b squared. B is equal to m minus 2 all squared minus 4ac. A is 2m and c is m plus 1. This is greater or equal to 0. Okay. Whenever I square anything, whether it's positive or negative, that thing will be positive. Are you together? So even if I can just remove here this sign over here, there's nothing wrong that I did. Are you together? But let me just do this without skipping any step. Né? So I'll simply have m minus 2 squared minus, this will give me 8m multiplied by m plus 1 greater or equal to 0. Right? Now I need to remove this bracket, the brackets actually. I will have m squared minus 4m plus 4 minus 8m squared minus 8m is greater or equal to 0. Are you together? So m squared and minus 8m squared will give me negative 7m squared. And negative 4m minus 8m will give me negative 12m. I have a 4 there. This is greater or equal to 0. Before I even factorize here, guys, I need to make sure that the value of a is positive. So I need to divide everything by negative 1. So I'll simply have 7m squared plus 12m minus 4. I'll still have a 0 on the other side, but please remember that whenever you divide everything by a negative, the sign of the inequality has to change. Are you together? And then all you need to do now is to factorize. You have 7m, you have m, 2 and 2 there. The sign says minus, your brackets will have different signs. You'll have a plus and a minus there. So your critical values, m is equal to 2 over 7 and m is equal to negative 2, right? Just place them on the number line. 2 over 7. No. Need to place them from a small one to the bigger one. Negative 2. And 2 over 7. Are you together? My critical values are both are included. Why? Because I have less or equal to. Simply means they are included. The numbers in front of m inside the brackets here, both of them are positive. So that means I'll start with the positive there. Once I get this sign, it will be the same. It will be easier for me to find the other signs, because once I jump the critical value, the sign has to change. Are you together? So this is plus, negative, and plus. Okay, I'm looking for the values of m that will give me a negative answer. There's only one negative region in my number line, and I can only find that when m is between negative 2 and 2 over 7. Negative 2 and 2 over 7. Yeah, that's how, guys, you're supposed to solve that that question, finding the values of m if the roots are real. Just know that m must be between negative 2 and 2 over 7, and both of the critical values are included. Okay, and then now let's move to question 1.4.2. For which values of m, determine the values of m for which the equation has two roots that are opposite in sign if m is less than 0, if m is a negative number. Okay, if m is a negative, guys, we need to look at this thing as a quadratic function. Né? If a is a negative number, if m is a negative number, right? Remember that you have 2 multiplied by a negative number. This thing simply means that a will be less than 0. Number 1. Are you together? So if a is less than 0, I know that my graph will look like this. Are you together? So it's either my graph will look like this, or it can be here. It doesn't matter, but all I know is that my graph has to be concave down. It has to have a set face. Are you together? Okay, now let's deal with the question. They are telling us for which values of m will for which values of m for which the equation has two roots that are opposite in sign. Ne? So if this thing have two roots that are opposite in sign, check here. If your thing is like this, you'll have answers which have two different signs. This one is positive, the other one is negative. Are you together? Please check whenever the turning point is on the other side. It's still the same, guys. Negative and positive solution. Are you together? But now check. Let's say now your y-intercept is below the x-axis. You'll have two solutions of the same answer. You can see that even if the turning point is on the left hand side, as long as the y-intercept is below the x-axis, you'll have two solutions of the same sign rather. Are you together? Okay, so how can we get our equation to have two roots with opposing signs? It simply means that c must be greater than 0. Are you together? Our y-intercept must be greater than 0. In this case, what is the y-intercept? The value of c is the y-intercept, right? So I'll simply write that m plus 1 has to be greater than 0, and then m has to be greater than a negative 1. Are you together? How can I express a negative 1 on a number line? I'll have negative 1 there. Since it's greater than, it will be just a line going to the right hand side, right? But remember that I was also told that m is a negative number, which simply means m can be anything which is less than 0. So I'll just insert 0 then on the number line and then indicate where m is less than 0. The answer will be like this whenever I represent it on the number line. The final solution for this question is where I have my two lines overlapping one another. I can see that my two lines are overlapping one another in this region. Are you together? So when m is between negative 1 and 0, that's when I have my two I have my two solutions overlapping one another. Are you together? So whenever m is between negative 1 and 0, I will have two roots with opposing signs. Are you together? So the final answer here, m has to be a number which is between -1 and 0. That's how, guys, you're supposed to deal with this equation. I really hope that, guys, the video helped you out and you gained a lot. Please stay tuned, guys. The other videos are coming as well. I don't forget to subscribe, like, guys, and share to your peers. Your engagement, guys, will help us reach a lot of students, and yeah, they might get help if they need it. In Manj.